the one and only Kevin Blackwell. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's kind of a weird feel of being breached in this country. If you would allow me, I have one more cut on here, and we can get into the meat of what we're going to talk about after this quick segment here. But this one is from Steve Bannon, and I know when you heard this late yesterday, being someone who is involved, of course, as a Republican, it's a little bit disconcerting. Here's what Bannon said yesterday.
We're at war. We're at a political and ideological war. And they've obviously weaponized the Justice Department. And this had to be approved by Ron Klain. This had to go up to the White House to be approved. Absolutely. Anybody saying it didn't is a liar. This had to go up the chain of command through Merrick Garland to Ron Klain at least. This is about pure power politics. They're absolutely scared to death about Trump. It can't be Mark Elias, the guy who laid out the entire effort to steal the 2020 election, remember the Transition Integrity Project. He's tweeting right now all the U.S. code about documents and how, make sure you can't run for federal office again. They're absolutely petrified Trump's going to announce in the next couple of weeks, win the Republican nomination, win the White House. Now, here's what's incumbent upon everybody. The House leaders right now need to step up and recommit Jim Jordan. Full investigation, I think cutting off appropriations to the FBI to get to the bottom of this. This is going to continue on. The FBI right now is the Gestapo. The FBI is the Gestapo, whether it's out in Colorado, putting a Gold Star mother like Tina Peters in chains, Peter Navarro in chains. It's absolutely obscene. This is an obscenity. And we're going to have to fight fire with fire. The way to do it is win election, win them overwhelmingly, and then use the appropriations process to choke down the FBI and choke down the Justice Department and get to the bottom of who approved this. This is so outrageous.
Now, I will say this. If there aren't people out there who says, he's talked about this, somebody fixed the election last time, they've corrupted the election, the process, they've done everything they possibly could. If they're willing to do this, what were they willing to do in the previous election as far as tainting it as much as possible? That doesn't help that narrative to make it sound like Trump is an idiot when he says that. But any thoughts on what transpired?
Well, obviously it's outrageous, but, the Democrats have been trying to steal back the election from Donald Trump since he first got elected. Mm-hmm. I don't recall in my lifetime any transition being that difficult and then continuing to be one hurdle after the next, and it's all internal politics and the weaponization of our justice system, fighting against him.
Yeah. I know we've already heard from Kevin McCarthy this morning and several other, quite a few members. The number of people in the House and Senate on the Republican side is pouring through. I haven't heard from Cindy Hyde-Smith or from Roger Wicker yet, but it's probably out there. Kevin McCarthy says the hearings will go on. They also have to be scared about what's going on as far as in November if they lose the House and or Senate, because there are going to be a hell of a lot of hearings go on, and these are going to be some hearings that have factual information, which I think is going to bring some indictments. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, just take a look at how they have slow-walked this whole Biden situation with Hunter Biden. Unbelievable. Now, if this were a Trump instead of a Biden, it'd be all over the press.
Well, I mentioned earlier, and I really believe this, that if this were an onslaught, Senator Blackwell, of 6 years, going on 7 years before you know it, of Barack Obama, with all the information we have, with one impeachment after the other, with one investigation after the other, proven bogus by both sides, they could not indict because it was bogus. Then I think at some point after Barack Obama's home was raided by a Trump or Republican FBI and DOJ, I think a lot of Republicans would say this is enough. This is ridiculous. I am a patriot before anything else.
I would agree. I would agree wholeheartedly with you. It's gone on too far too long.
One of the tweets this morning that I retweeted at Paul Gallo Show, here are the people who haven't been raided by the FBI. Pedophiles associated with Jeffrey Epstein, Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, and Eric Swalwell for sleeping with a Chinese spy. That's how far out of whack this thing is. But
that's all normal behavior for them.
Yes, it is. I didn't get to here for that. I just wanted to pick your brain about what is going on. The 2023 is we're ending, getting close to the end of summer. There'll be more meetings being picked up or picking up, and committee meetings and things such as that. But normally at this time of the year, when does it budget and everything else start to get a little bit busier?
Yes, it does. And I'm not on the budget committee, so I get to sit back and kind of watch that process. But we'll be having some hearings, Medicaid hearings. Actually, we'll have, I think, 3 of them. One will be strictly on postpartum. The other 2 will be concerned with should we be paying for Medicaid services. Right now, we have a mixture of both fee-for-service and managed care. And so basically I want to take a look, and the criticisms we've had with managed care. So just want to take a look what's happening nationally. Should we go all managed care? Because right now only about 30% of our beneficiaries are in managed care. Think about another 38%.
For people who don't understand that, Kevin, explain as far as managed care to, meaning going through a third-party operator or?
Well, the managed care folks like Centene and
okay, we're talking about Centene specifically. That contract has not been done yet?
They have. I have not heard that they have selected the new providers yet. I would anticipate that should be coming out fairly soon, though.
I do believe that we have head of Medicaid on this week. I'll double check it. I think he is supposed to be in this week. So you would be notified, I'm sure, immediately after that's done, would you not?
If they don't call me, somebody from the provider side will.
Yeah. So, that's a big deal. You can't. Can you do that and change or drop them without legislative approval?
Well, I don't know the whole process. I'm not talking about making any changes right now. It's basically a fact-finding, trying to find out what are other states doing. Should we go all in managed care? Should it be fee-for-service? Should it be some sort of hybrid model? So we're just going to take
So you're telling me that committee is going to start meeting and exploring that possibility?
That'll be in October, and the postpartum will be in November. And on postpartum, we've already passed it, I think, at least 3 times out of the Senate. So basically the purpose of the hearing is just to bring some more light on it, maybe have some House members attend, and if the Speaker would allow the House to vote, I believe it'll pass.
Have you had any communication with the Speaker or anybody in the House?
I have not.
Is the bill going to mirror what was available last year in the 2022 session, or will it change a little bit?
No, I see it mirroring the one we did last year. All it is a simple extending it from 60 days to 12 months of care for women.
Well, I don't understand this. And again, because I'm not involved in the process, I think simplistically, but some other states have gone from that 2 months to a 6 month. And apparently in talking with the Speaker, talking with the Lieutenant Governor, talking with you and others, that's never even been a consideration, and I do not understand why.
I can't understand it either. The argument against it is that people are calling it expansion. It's not expansion.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're trying to reach some mitigation on this one, and their problem is they don't want to expand it to 12 months. Was ever 6 months thrown out there and said, let's do it for 6 months because we'll certainly have a better situation and grasp over postpartum that is kind of fast at 2 months, but at 6 months, it's a logical step.
Well, it might seem like that, but a lot of these women run into problems after that 6 month period.
All right. It's always something I just don't understand, and I try to find out. I'm inquisitive about that, but it's just politics kind of skews some of the formulas. We will talk more about other issues like the Blue Cross Blue Shield, what's happening there. And also, Kevin is also on the Senate Gaming Committee, the Insurance Committee, and other things, so we got lots to talk about. We'll take a deep breath, pour a cup of coffee, back in a moment with more next. Kevin Blackwell is with us, who is Senator District 19, DeSoto County, Marshall County. How's the business up there? How is in the northern part of our state some of the tremendous expansion and everything has been slowed down a little bit because of this economy?
No.
It hasn't.
It really hasn't.
People are fleeing out of Memphis. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and it's not slowing up, is it?
Well, we have them coming out of Memphis, and we have them moving in from other states as well. But you're right, it hasn't slowed up. We have going down Getwell which is one of our major boulevards. It's just one. Every week there's a new pad being poured for a new restaurant going up, or a new bank, or relocating, or another business coming in.
Has there been some stall, as far as you know, on the Amazon locations there? Because you have 2 in that area.
Not that.
Have they stalled out or anything?
No, sir.
I don't think so. You know, there was a lot of worry about opening the one in Madison, and I think Joey Deason's going to be with us tomorrow, so we'll talk about that, because the grand opening and everything the reason that one is an exception is because it has the latest robotics, and not only that, it needs less people and it's more efficient, but altogether I think it's over 1,000 people. So we'll have the scoop on that one tomorrow. But you're saying they haven't stalled or anything or cut back in the north part.
That's correct. We're still going strong.
Let me ask you this on Medicaid, because this is an ongoing thing. And I know last week I had talked to some people, and my position has changed on it just as one single voter out there. And the reason I think if we could do 2 things, first of all, if you want to call it something else, call it something else. But if we could have 2 parts of this, I think most conservatives would say, look, if number one, we can guarantee that the federal government's going to put what they said they're going to put in here, and it doesn't cost us, and at some point in the future, whether it's 6 months or 6 years or 16 years, if they do, then that program ends regardless of what political ramification it is to whomever happens to be in office. And number 2, a performance outbased, a performance base a platform, an outcome that we know somewhere down the line it is helping. It's helping people climb out of poverty at that, or climb higher into the middle class, and secondly, get healthier in our stats in Mississippi. And if those 2 things happen, I think it would be a good investment for our state. Am I off basis with that?
Well, if I'm reading in between the lines, you're talking about expansion of Medicaid.
I am talking about the higher limit of about 200,000 people, or whatever that number happens to be.
Right. So that's just going to put more people on welfare.
Yeah.
And the way the federal government operates, once they're on, you can't get them off.
I understand that.
You can't have work requirements. So where's the incentive? You're going to put these people on, give them free health care. Why do they need to work?
Does it have to be free health care? Don't they have to pay some as far as a deductible on that?
I think there might be, but I thought that's what Obamacare was for, so that the working poor could have access to affordable health care.
So you are in contrary disagreement with the lieutenant governor, because the lieutenant governor is for this and you're against it?
I haven't heard exactly what the lieutenant governor is for, but I'm against expansion as the typical expansion process as we know it, just adding more people to the rolls.
Do you think this would help the hospitals?
It would help them in the sense of they'd get some additional reimbursement, but I don't see them going out in these claims of you expand it, you're going to hire all these new people. Why am I going to hire people? I mean, I've been a CEO of a hospital. Why am I going to hire additional people for minimal revenue coming in when I'm already providing that care?
Do you still have your business? I mean, are you still in private practice with healthcare companies?
Yes, I am. And I'm not a practitioner. I'm just a business person.
That's what I should say. That you are. You have. Is it
medical imaging, MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays.
How does that play into your business? Does it help it or hurt it if it was expanded?
Well, we do some indigent work for folks up there. Some of the doctors that have patients, we try to work with them. We do take Medicaid, but it's not a big portion of our payer base.
So if that bill comes back forward, it's likely not to clear the House nor the Senate.
I don't see it happening this year.
All right, let's talk about a couple of other things. You said the postpartum is going to be back again. Why do you think that's a good idea?
We lead the nation in infant and maternal mortality. Giving health care to these women, it's just crazy that it ends at 60 days. A lot of these issues arise after that 60-day period. So you take a look at the mom dies. Who's taking care of that child now? You know, grandmother They put it in the foster system, and we know we have issues with our foster system that I think Senator Boyd's going to be having some hearings later this fall on that matter. But it's just devastating to the life of that child. So I think it's just the right thing to do. I'm sure if your wife had coverage, if you have children, I had children, my wife had coverage, and it's not expanding. We're not going to add one additional woman who shouldn't be on the get that benefit. All we're doing is expanding that coverage so that we can take care of the diabetes or the hypertension that could occur after that 60-day period.
I really don't disagree with you on that one. I think it's a misstep by the speaker, and I'm hoping something can come together on that in this next legislative session. How much money are we talking about additional that this would cost us?
I think.
Do you ever put a figure on that?
We were kicking around. I think it was about $5 million state share, if I recall. I don't quote me on that, but I haven't met with Drew and the department yet to go over what their needs or their wishes are for next session.
Can we talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room here? And I'm hoping hearings are going to be happening on this, because with the Dobbs decision, there are going to be more babies born in the state, and many of them, or a lot of them, or a sizable portion of them, may be in the low income. Are we preparing for that? And I understand the postpartum, but are we preparing for that, or is there some hearings going on, or do we have a plan?
I think we'll be talking about that further again through some of the things that I'll be doing later on this session or this off season, and then with what Senator Boyd's doing with her committee.
Well, I want to go back as far as the foster. You said there were some problems with the foster program in our state. If you pointed out a blaring problem, what would it be? Let the people of our state know.
I don't really know. I can't point to anything, one specific thing. I just know we've had issues in the foster system, and we're trying to.
Is it lack of parents, or is it the finances, or?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure, and that's when Senator Boyd's going to have her hearings. Whether it's parents being available, whether it's the process that they have to go through being too long.
Let me switch gears here, because I could use 2 hours with you. But you were front and center as far as the medical marijuana. It is moving on. I think it's progressing in the way that most people want. Do you foresee any bills that will give some corrections, some corrective movement to this that we need to do in the new session?
Sure. We'll probably be tweaking this almost every year. You know, we have an advisory committee that I know I think the lieutenant governor and the governor has made their appointments. I'm not sure about the speaker. But I plan to meet with, and I do meet with the Department of Health and Department of Revenue on this matter, but do plan to meet with them around November to see what issues that they have arisen through their process, and to make whatever little tweaks we need to. One of the things I know we need to correct has to do with background checks. We apparently need to give the Department of Safety.
Oh, wait, do me a favor, because I want to hear this. Let's do this in the final segment when we come up. Right. Corrections, possibility to be addressed in the 2023 session on medical marijuana. The Chairman, Kevin Blackwell, will join us with that coming up, too. Final segment with Kevin Blackwell, a senator from District 19, DeSoto County, Marshall counties, and Chairman, Senate Medicaid. Now, finish that thought process and what we're talking about.
You'll remind me.
Perez, do you have any idea? I forgot what we were talking about, but we kind of wrapped up.
Old people now.
Well, I know it. Do you remember what we were talking about? God, I can't believe that. I tossed it to you, but I wanted to hear it. Well, just give me your closing thoughts here on what you feel like will be the biggest things coming up in the 2023 session. Oh, no, I know what it was. Took me a second. Is some course corrections on medical marijuana. You said we needed some course corrections.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, with DPS, for instance, we did not specify that they could reach out to the FBI to do background checks. So we're going to have to add that. And I'm sure there'll be a few other little tweaks as we get into it. But to my knowledge, the program is going well. Just to give you, we've had 51 cultivator applications. We've had 10 approved. We've got one area that we do need help in is testing facilities. We've only had one applicant, and and I don't think they've been approved yet. But would be nice to have a couple more testing facilities.
Are they able to do that in more than one place? In other words, can they set up 2 locations, or is this mandatory just individual?
No, they can be in multiple locations. The only restriction is that the cultivators and processors and dispensaries can't own a testing facility for obvious reasons.
Are you happy with what it looks like up in the northern part of the state, DeSoto County, in that area, as far as the distributors, the possible growers, et cetera?
I am. I haven't seen all the specific locations. I know we had 132 dispensary applications.
Statewide?
Statewide. 95 have been issued. 25 were denied. Of those 25, 18 were too close to other dispensaries, and the other 7, they were too close to schools or churches.
And we've also had some municipalities who were just kind of like put on hold, and now they've made a decision possibly to go for it. I think a lot of those who were holding back, the ones who said no are still no for the most part, but the ones who said, hang on, let me cogitate, most of those have gone over and said, okay, we'll do it.
Yeah, South Haven is one that opted out originally, and what they wanted to do is take a look at the zoning, and so what they're proposing is a medical corridor, if you would. And to my knowledge, that decision won't be made on that till sometime in September, I believe.
Have you visited any of the sites, Chairman?
No, I haven't. I have seen some, I did some out-of-state visits to dispensaries and cultivators, and actually I was in Denver last week and with a conference, and part of the conference they took us to a cultivator processing facility out there. So I've seen the industry, and it's major business.
If anybody knows the good parts and the bad parts, it's going to be Denver and Colorado. Did you learn anything over there, and you're going to take it back in the session and say, hey, guys, I found out about this. Maybe we need to look at this. We kind of it got bias. Anything like that?
Not yet. Now,
not yet.
It may turn out it wasn't. We had, I think, 47 drafts of that bill.
Yep.
Even put it out online, I think, in September, trying to be as transparent and get as much information as we could. And so I think overall, I think we've got a pretty good bill, but we're still going to need to tweak it now and then.
Over in the dormant section is a thing called the initiative process. What's your feelings on that, and what's going to happen?
I'd like to see us have one. I thought the Senate version that Senator Polk worked on was acceptable to me. I think some of the numbers, the House wanted some different numbers in there. So we'll have to see what happens, but I think we'll probably get to a process where we do have an initiative process.
That will come through the election committee, or I forget which one.
Well, it went through AET.
You're on that one, aren't you?
Yeah, it went through John Polk. He's chairman of AET.
Anything as far as gaming is concerned, because you're also on the gaming committee, anything we're going to take a look at this mobile betting again, or what are we going to do on that?
I don't know. I haven't heard from Senator Blunt what he expects to do this next session. We've been fairly quiet the last 3 sessions.
He's still on gaming, right?
Yes, sir.
I asked that, and I know, but it's another story for another time. It's always good, sir. Tremendously informative, and I appreciate it so very much.